Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today I've borrowed this red hot with black interior 2021 Chevrolet Blazer for my friends at Red River Chevrolet here in Bossier City, Louisiana. We're going to take a quick look at the 2021 version of Chevrolet's mid-size 5-passenger SUV and do a little test drive later on. And speaking of the test drive, of course, that's one of the great features of this model is that it not only looks good and actually has some styling cues that came from the Camaro. See if you can spot some of those on the exterior and tell me what they are down in the comments. You're also going to find some of that on the dashboard as well, and we'll take a look at that in just a little bit. But this is a nice, comfortable SUV. It rides well, it drives well. It handles quite well too, and I do like what we have here. I like these overcast days because it gives me the opportunity to turn on some of the lights. You can see the headlights are on, and I've got the hazard lights on as well, just to kind of give you an idea of what things look like. And of course, while we have all of that on, let's get over here in a position where you can see that you do also have turn signal indicators built into the mirrors. And the lines of this model are nice. I do like the fact that the hood has some nice lines to it. It's not just a big flat hood. Now you'll notice that you really have almost a tri-grille here. You have the lower grille right here, the middle grille, and even the upper grille. So quite a bit of air flowing into this motor. And this is the 4-cylinder that is in this particular model. We'll open the hood in just a minute and take a look at that. There is an optional 6-cylinder engine, and maybe I can get my hands on a model that has that. But we'll see exactly how this model handles with the 4-cylinder under the hood when we hop out on the road for our test drive in just a few minutes. Now I'm starting from this angle as we look under the hood because I have to give kudos to Chevrolet. You've got the struts to raise the hood on this model, something you don't see on every single model like this or a lot of vehicles in general. Something I really like, just a nice little convenience. And here is the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. I'll put all the numbers on the screen as far as horsepower, torque, MPG, and all that good stuff. It has made it to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and of course you're gonna get some pretty good gas mileage. That's one thing that has definitely changed when you compare this model of Blazer to some of the Blazers of decades long ago. Those things did not get good gas mileage. Not that people necessarily care about that, but it just seems that we have a more conscious group in the world today looking for better gas mileage on some of these models of vehicles. Now, like I said, this exterior color, I didn't say it was the color earlier, but this is actually called Red Hot. That is what the color is called. And just a quick look here at the black interior. You've got the jet black interior here. Very nice. As we work our way down the side of the Blazer, of course, you'll see the black trim that not only surrounds the entire vehicle on the lower portion, but also the black trim around the windows, the roof rails in black as well, 18-inch wheels. And we'll walk our way around to the rear here. And again, more of that black trim right here. Nice roof spoiler, I do like that. Got the rear window wiper and dual exhaust back here as well. And we'll take a look at the interior. And like I said, you do not have a third row. This is a 5-seat SUV or 5-passenger SUV, so you got 2 rows. Here is what you're going to have as far as your remote goes. Notice you do have a remote start, something I always like to see on these vehicles. And of course, I know I'm often asked to make sure to show what's under the floor. There is your spare tire. That is a full-size spare tire, also an 18-inch rim, just like the others that we looked at that are on the vehicle right now. And just taking a look around at what we have here in the rear, I will put the numbers on the screen of cargo space of exactly what you have as far as cargo space with the rear seats in their upright position, and also when you fold them flat to maximize your cargo space. Well, let me do one more thing before I show that. So let's show the interior here. You do have passive entry on the front doors and the rear doors. So if you have the remote in your pocket or on your person, basically, you just hit that. It's gonna lock and or unlock the interior. Just a nice little feature there. Take a quick look at the passenger side door from the outside. This is what you have for your rear seat passengers. Of course, you do have the fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in right there. And I'll just hop inside here. The seat's pretty far back, but I'll tell you what, I've got a decent amount of room. As you can see right there, quite a bit of space. This seat could stand to go up further, so quite a nice amount of leg room for your rear seat passengers. And of course, the dual air conditioning vents. You've got your USB ports right here. And just a quick look into the front seat before we actually hop up there and take a look around. And just a quick look here at the passenger side door. Of course, you're going to notice some more accessory here, a little more trim, a little more color than what we had on the rear. And of course, very comfortable seats here. These cloth seats are nice and comfortable. Now, this is not a power seat on the passenger side, but it is adjustable. As you can see, here's the release to move the seat back and forth. And of course, you can move the seat back with this right here. And when it comes to opening the glove box right here, you're going to find that the button for doing so is located right here. That's what opens that up. Quite a bit of space there. And just a quick look around what you have here. A little more storage right here. And just a quick look at the console, the center console from the passenger view before we hop into the driver's seat. Now, one thing that I do want to point out here before we hop in is what you do with this right here. This is for opening the rear lift gate, and you have a couple of different options as to whether it opens all the way, opens 3/4, or you can actually lock that if you want to. If you ever go back there and it doesn't open, make sure you check right here to make sure that is not set to off. Just a simple little tidbit. Of course, you do have a power driver's seat. The steering wheel is adjustable tilt and telescopically, not power, but it is manually adjustable nonetheless. Of course, here are the controls for your headlights, everything that I had on earlier as we looked at. And of course, you do have a push button start right here. And I like the fact that just beneath the push button start is where you can turn off that auto stop start feature if you don't like that. That's my personal preference, to turn that off. If you like to use it, of course, it is there if you want to, but that depends on your preferences. Of course, here is your cruise control, and you can go through a lot of different features here on the dashboard. I'll just scroll through those. All I'm doing here, so you can see, is just using the little wheel right there, and if I want to select something, I just push on that. But just to kind of show you what's here, not a necessarily long tour of those things, just so that you can see what's there depending on your personal preferences. Nice dashboard, not too much information there, but it is nice and easy to figure out. And of course, Chevrolet's infotainment system, very easy to use. I really like that. There's not a whole lot here to deal with, but if you've never had technology like this in a vehicle before, and there are still people out there who haven't had a vehicle that's new enough to have technology like this. Of course, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as you can see right there. And for those, again, that don't necessarily know, that allows you to pair your phone, and then basically the infotainment screen has the same information that is stored on your phone, such as your contacts and all that good stuff. And you have quite a few nice features here. A lot of customization, a lot of things you can change. If you want to change your language, you've got, as you can see, you've got English, French, and Spanish. And of course, you can go back. A lot of different things you can change here and add or even delete depending on what you need to do, updates, preferences, all that good stuff. And then of course you can go in here for your apps to do the same basic thing, also vehicles. So you have a few different menus that you can go to right there to change things, even teen driver mode, as you can see right there. Valet mode also available, where you basically can set the vehicle up with a code and it keeps the valet from being able to change anything. So a very nice feature. Without that code, they can't go in and make any changes to the vehicle. Just kind of a little added security if you choose to valet your Blazer. And of course, you've got controls here for the radio right here, and also right there on the outside on the left and the right. Let's just go into something here. You can go back or you can go home, depending on where you are, especially if this is, again, new to you. Well, that kind of helps out a little bit to just have a fail-safe to get back to where you were. And like I said, even the dashboard, a little bit of that Camaro look to it. And also down here, you're going to find more of that Camaro look and feature that I was talking about earlier with the air conditioning and the way you adjust the temperature and everything else. Of course, dual zone climate control is there. And of course, you do have multiple driving modes. And of course, if you want to change your modes, that's what this dial is for. And of course, that is snow mode, something we're not very likely to need here in Northwest Louisiana, but you never know, it can happen from time to time. And of course, you've got your USB ports right here again. The same thing you have in the back seat, just a couple in the front. So that's a nice feature that you don't just have USB ports in the front. And if you had wireless charging, this is where it would be on this model, but this one doesn't have it. Not a bad thing necessarily, but it is available as an option. And just a quick look here around at the interior. While there are some really nice features here, it's not an overload, and so especially for those who maybe haven't had this kind of technology and features before, not that much to learn, not confusing, but regardless, this is what you have. But of course, the main thing we want to do is see how it handles out on the road. So let's get out and find out. All right, guys, we're going to hop out on the road. You can hear the four-cylinder doing its thing and getting up to speed. We're just kind of cruising down the road here. I'm not really pushing on the gas pedal very hard, but the acceleration is actually very impressive. And I haven't dropped it to the floor or anything like that. But this really isn't meant to be a high-performance vehicle, but if you need the power, it is there with the 9-speed automatic transmission. The way everything's geared and set up, you're definitely not going to have any trouble merging into fast-moving traffic, going around slower-moving traffic on a 2-lane road, or whatever the case may be. And one thing I have not mentioned yet is the fact that, of course, this Blazer has a lot of safety features, and depending on the trim level that you purchase for 2021, those safety features are all going to be standard now compared to what the case was in the past. So a very big plus right there for Chevrolet and for buyers of the Blazer. So as we cruise down the road here, I'm enjoying the drive. The steering wheel is good and comfortable and nice and responsive. And even though this is a front-wheel drive vehicle, if you've driven older style front-wheel drive vehicles, boy, it was very easy to feel that it was front-wheel drive through the steering wheel and just the way the overall car handled. You could really kind of feel the weight of the front end in that respect. You don't get that anymore with these modern-day front-wheel drive cars, or SUVs in this case, as it is with this mid-size Blazer. But that, regardless, is, in my book, a plus to not have that front-wheel drive feeling that you used to have that almost made it kind of uncomfortable to drive a front-wheel drive vehicle. And overall, the driving experience is good. The handling is nice. The ride quality is nice. I'm very impressed with how this Blazer drives. You know, these are roads that I drive quite regularly, whether I'm doing test drives or whatever the case may be. So I drive here on this road quite often, and it's comfortable, it's enjoyable, easy to see out of, good visibility, but at the same time, of course, you have all those nice driver aids and features that I mentioned earlier and showed on the screen for you to know what you have as far as driving aids to help when you're driving around in heavy traffic. Or of course, you've got these now standard backup cameras, and they've been on these vehicles for a long time, but I believe there was actually a federal mandate in the United States that by the year 2020, all vehicles were required to have a backup camera, everything that was at least new, of course. Now, it's fair to do a quick little acceleration test here, so I'll just do that real quick. Nothing super impressive, but like I said, guys, if you need to get down the road in one of these Blazers with the 4-cylinder engine, the little 2.5 liter, it's not going to be a problem. But as I said, you do have the optional 6-cylinder, making more horsepower, more torque, going to be a little bit more effective depending on what your situation and your needs are, of course, and depending on if you need to use your Blazer for some light towing. And of course, I gave those numbers earlier as far as towing and cargo space and all that good stuff, but I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with these Blazers. I had a Chevrolet Blazer when I was a teenager, and to say that there is a big difference in the way these Blazers ride and drive compared to what I had back then. That was a 1985 model. Well, That definitely is an understatement. Tremendous improvement in that area. But like I said earlier, guys, tell me what you would like to see in future models of the Blazer, because there are people from GM who will likely see these comments. I know from the dealership, and they can pass that on. If you want a more rugged version that is more capable of maybe doing what you could have done with a Blazer from years gone by, well, say it down in the comments. I'm curious to know, and I'm sure others are too. Gotta say thanks to my friends at Red River Chevrolet for loaning me this little Blazer for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch. Thanks again, guys, for your support of Vehicle Visionary. I appreciate everything you do for me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.